When it comes to building muscle and getting stronger, we often hear the terms of strength and hypertrophy thrown around. But what if I told you that the methods you're using to grow your muscles might not be the best for building strength, or vice versa? If you want to be the strongest version of yourself, you might need to rethink how you train your muscles. Or if your goal is to sculpt and grow, you could be doing something that is actually holding yourself back. So are you training for strength or hypertrophy? And more importantly, how do you know which one is the right one for you? Throughout this episode, we'll dive into this topic and uncover some common mistakes that are known culprits for shutting down or stunting potential. Let's start by defining what we mean by strength and hypertrophy. Both are very much intertwined, but they focus on different things. Strength is all about your ability to move as much weight as possible regardless of the size of the muscle. Strength training involves lifting heavy weights for fewer reps. It's about the recruitment of muscle fibers that generate that maximum force. The goal here is to make those muscles stronger and more able to produce more force so you can lift heavier weights over time. On the other hand, hypertrophy focuses on muscle growth. It's all about making your muscles bigger. Hypertrophy training typically involves more moderate weights and slightly higher reps. The key here is time under tension and volume, which triggers the muscle building process by stressing the fibers in a different way to strength training. Now let's delve into some key differences. So strength training relies heavily on maximum force production, which often means a big focus on compound lifts. You're training the nervous system to recruit the greatest amount of muscle fibers to move as much weight as possible. This means your rest times in between sets are longer to allow recovery so you can generate that power all over again. But hypertrophy thrives on volume. That means more reps, more sets, but most importantly, more overall workload. And this is a really interesting point regarding ways in which you can achieve that workload. The idea is to fatigue the muscle fibers to the point when they are forced to grow. You want to create metabolic stress, muscle damage, mechanical tension. All of these are key triggers to muscle growth. So, why should you care about this distinction? If you're training for strength and you're lifting more moderately heavy weights with higher rep range and short rest periods, you're probably hampering your strength building, at least to some extent. In a similar sense, if you're training for hypertrophy and your weights are really heavy with minimal rest, then you're probably interfering with your ability to grow muscle size. Strength and hypertrophy aren't mutually exclusive. You can and should train for both. In fact, some of the most effective training programs combine elements of both. And transitioning through weight and through volume is an incredible program to execute, especially if done effectively. By starting heavy with a clear focus on strength makes sense, and as the months go by, to gradually increase the number of reps that you're doing as your strength naturally increases. This would represent a full incorporation of both strength and hypertrophy training over a period of time, including an undefined transition between the two within that time frame. But here's something you might not know. There's more to it than just muscle size and muscle strength. In fact, there's something deeper going on that can really affect how much weight you can lift or how much muscle that you can build. And I'm talking here about tendon development. Tendons play a huge role in strength. If you want to lift more, you need to develop those tendons as much as your muscles. So what's the secret behind training tendons? And how does it relate to building true strength? That's exactly what we'll pick up in the next episode of this series. It's information you probably won't want to miss out on. Well, that's a wrap for this particular episode. We've scratched some of the surface on the key differences between strength and hypertrophy and how to tailor your workout to include both. Be sure to check out episode 9 for a deep dive into tendon training. Until then, keep lifting, stay strong, and remember your gains are just around the corner. Catch you next time.